Hey guys, welcome to the 63rd C programming tutorial, and in this tutorial we're going to begin looking at memory functions, and we're also going to be talking about the heap. Now the first memory function that we're going to be looking at is the simplest, and that memory function is just malloc. And malloc stands for memory allocate, and all of this function will do is allocate memory for us. And this malloc function is located inside of the std library file. So just make sure you go ahead and include this whenever you want to use that function. So let's just go ahead right here and call malloc. So M-A-L-L-O-C. And this function takes one parameter, and that's simply the amount of memory that you want to allocate. So we'll just say that we want to allocate enough memory for 5 integers. We know that the size of an int is 4 bytes, so if we multiply 5 by 4, we get 20. So we just want to allocate 20 bytes of memory. And this malloc function just returns the address of the memory that it allocated. So we'll just go ahead and store that address inside of an integer pointer, since we want to be storing integers inside of this allocated memory. So I'll just say int nums equals the address that this malloc function returns. Alright, so you're probably wondering where this memory is allocated. Well, it's not allocated on the stack, which is what we talked about last time. It's actually allocated on a different part of memory called the heap. So let's just go ahead and take a look at what the heap looks like in Paint right here. So we'll just say that this black box right here is the heap. Well, when we call this malloc function right here, all that it's going to do is find 20 consecutive bytes on the heap that aren't being used. So let's just say that those 20 consecutive non-used bytes are right here. All it's going to do is mark these 20 bytes as being used so that they can't be used by anything else, and then it's just going to return the address of this allocated memory to us. Alright, so the address of this allocated memory is now stored in this integer pointer called nums, and it's as simple as that. That's all that the heap does. So now that we've allocated this memory, let's just fill it with 5 numbers. So we'll just say for int I equals 0 while I is less than 5, and then we'll just increment I right there. And then nums at the index of I equals I. Alright, so all that we're doing is allocating 20 bytes of memory and filling those 20 bytes of memory with 5 integers. So when we run this, we shouldn't get any errors. And this should make sense. We shouldn't get any errors writing to this memory right here because we allocated it. We should be able to write to that memory. Alright, now one thing that I really want to point out to you is that when you're ever calling malloc, you definitely should not put a constant value right there. I said that we wanted to allocate enough memory to store 5 integers. Well, the best thing to do is to use the size of operator, and then we want to allocate memory for 5 ints. So I'll just pass through int right here and then multiply it by the amount of integers that I want to allocate memory for, and I said 5. So every time that you're calling malloc, make sure that you're using the size of operator, because on some computers the size of a data type might be different. So just to be safe, make sure that you're always using the size of operator. It's a good habit to get in. Alright, and again, if I just run this, we shouldn't get any problems, and we don't. And the last function that I want to be talking about is free. And the free function will just deallocate memory. After we're finished using all this memory right here, what we should do is just give it back to the heap. We need to free it. So if I just go ahead and make a call to free right here and pass through the address of the memory we allocated, it's just going to give that memory back to the heap. So once I free this memory, all that it's going to do in the heap is come back here and deallocate this memory so that something else can use it. It's just going to erase it so that we don't have access to read or write to it. So after we free this memory, if I try and read from it or write to it, I'm going to get an error, or the program's going to crash. So if I go ahead right here and try to say nums at the index of 0 equals 7 after I've freed the memory, then the application's going to crash. And yeah, it did. Alright, so once again, after we free the memory, we're not allowed to read from it or to write to it. So every time that you've allocated memory, make sure that you give it back to the heap. Free it. so that that memory can be used by something else. Also, it means that your program is using less memory. So it's always good to make sure that your program is using the least amount of memory as possible. Alright, so that's pretty much it for this tutorial. In the next tutorial, we'll continue looking at more memory functions. Alright, so see you guys.